Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show. Today we have back on the show Blaise Brady, the National Director of Channel Sales at QOS Networks, the sponsor of the Top Gun Show. Prior to his nearly 2 years at QOS Networks, Blaise has held sales, leadership, and sales partner development positions at Windstream, CenturyLink, Spectrum Business, and Level 3. He's a telecommunications expert with over 20 years experience who truly understands the mind of the customer as well as the sales partner. Blaise, welcome back to the Top Gun Show.
Thank you, Steve, for having me.
Yeah, nice to have you back on. Well, last week we uncovered how QOS Networks is helping enterprise companies gain efficiency with SASE, cloud networking, and AIOPS. With what type of customer applications are you winning? In other words, what problems are you solving for your customers?
That's a great question, Stephen. And the thought process that I tend to think about is how we can enable a customer's transformation. I know digital transformation is a phrase that gets thrown around a lot, but at the same time, it's a true thought process, a true statement. As a matter of fact, I was actually talking to a CIO about a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, and he was talking about how he had the desire to have that digital transformation, right? He had the desire to move to UCaaS and CCaaS and SD-WAN and all those other events and migrations. The challenge that was before him, and he actually literally said, I had the budget. I had the budget approved. I had the idea of which platform I wanted to move to, which technology I wanted to move to. I didn't have the staff. And the staff I had didn't have the expertise, didn't have the knowledge. So what we can do at QOS is that we're really a bolt-on to the customer's environment. And what that means to the customer is now they can think about what's the next thing in their application desire, right? Because let's think about a bank, for example, right? A bank, they want to get in front of their customers more. They want their customers using their solutions more, having a good experience with their banking applications. But they're not probably designing that bank application. They're using a third-party application. Well, where does that third-party application live? Does it live in a cloud solution? Does it live in multiple cloud solutions, a hybrid cloud solution? So what we can do is we can help enable that conversation for the bank by delivering a more robust, more complete edge experience and bolting onto their environment by adding those additional solutions. And a lot of that is based on the fact that the platform, our AIOPS built platform, is a big differentiator for making that happen.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned AIOPS. I know that's a big part of what you guys do. Why don't you explain the meaning of that? Because I don't think everybody understands what AIOPS is and how big of a differentiator that is for your customer.
So AIOPS is definitely, maybe a buzzword or a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. But the general thought process is this, is that QOS, we have a homegrown solution that we've built called the Intelligent Network Platform. And we've interwoven multiple technologies, multiple softwares, multiple solutions into that platform. And therefore, we can deliver that AIOPS built platform. So what does that really mean? That means the platform is basically removing the noise. It's removing the clutter. It's removing the challenges of identifying where the problem is. What's the problem? What's going on? Is it even really a problem? Is it just noise? The funny thing is a lot of times whenever a customer adds a brand new technology or they add a brand new solution like SD-WAN, sometimes they start seeing things in their network that they weren't aware of, right? They didn't even know that event was taking place. They didn't even know that item was taking place. And then all of a sudden they have 10 alerts, 20 alerts, 10,000 alerts in their network. What are they going to do with those alerts? By using an AIOPS platform, it's smarter versus manual effort. It's faster versus manual effort. It's removing all of those alerts that aren't necessary. It's improving the operational efficiencies for the customer, and then of course, for QOS. And now the customer can focus their energy on the true strategic initiatives, as opposed to focusing on the noise, focusing on the minor issues that we can resolve for them. Therefore, it improves their mean time to repair, and it decreases their headaches, I guess you could say, in the network.
Great answer, man. I love that. So I want to talk about ideal customer size now. I know you have customers with literally several thousands of locations. We've talked about that. Yet I also know from past conversations that customer size isn't really the right question to ask. Millions of potential customers are watching this right now. How do they know if they're a good fit for your solutions?
So that's a good question, Steve, and a question that we get frequently. So I'm going to answer that in a sort of altruistic answer, and then I'll boil it down to a little bit more simplistic. Altruistically, it's a customer that has the desire for that increased operational efficiencies, right? They have the desire to have, an AIOPS built solution that's going to be smarter and faster and more insightful, right? Delivering insightful information. And they maybe don't have the knowledge internally, they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the funds to go out and buy a platform, buy a solution, build the solution, right? So number one, it's that customer who really desires that operational efficiencies that we can bring. So what customer fits that mold, right? Who needs that? So the analogy I like to use is, like maybe like a 15 site, 20 site, dry cleaner, right? Or a 15 site, 20 site gas station organization, right? Yeah, they have multiple locations. They definitely have a need for a WAN solution of some kind, but the operational need for a dry cleaner is having enough chemicals in the back to wash the shirts and having enough gas in the van to deliver the clothes to the customers. Conversely, let's talk about a 15 site or 20 site investment banking company that has a location in Japan, in San Francisco, in Chicago, in Dallas, in New York, in Miami, in the UK, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, a moment of downtime, a millisecond of downtime could mean thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars of revenue to their organization. Operational efficiency to them is ensuring that they're interconnected, that they can make trades, they can interact with their customers, and they can really deliver the promise that they set out to their customers of helping manage their funds and managing their money.
That's a great answer. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, last week we learned that you operate with hardly any oxygen. You live at 9,000 feet. Today, I'd like to know I want you to give some advice. You've had an incredible career with some of the most well-known telecommunications companies in the industry. What advice would you give a sales partner that's just starting out building his or her book of business?
That's a really good question. And I would say the best thing a partner can do that's just starting off is find an organization that helps enable your success, right? Enable in a good way, not like enabling your 30-year-old to live in the basement, but enabling in a good way. And what I mean by that is the way that QOS, we work with our partners, right? We have a sell with mentality, right? We don't want a partner that just flips a lead over the fence. And we also don't want a partner that keeps us at arm's length and not lets us work with the customer. We want to work with you, right? We want to be there at the table with you physically, or maybe figuratively, depending on if it's a Zoom meeting or if it's a face-to-face meeting. And we want to enable that success. We want to help educate you, help you grow, give you knowledge, because then therefore knowledge is power, right? Beyond that, you want to find some key people, some key folks in the organization that really want to help you win, right? And latch onto those individuals. The good news is one of my favorite things about working in the partner channel is the fact that people, for the most part, they really want to help others be successful, right? I've had many partners that will literally share, free advice to a brand new partner, and they don't look at them as a competitor. They look at them, more of like a frenemy, right? They're a friend, they're a competitor, but I still want them to be successful. So find those people, find those folks, the organizations that want to enable you, and find the people that want to enable you.
Love it. Great answer. Great answer. Well, next week we'll discuss the anatomy of a typical deal where QOS Networks was brought in early and how they made a huge impact on the buying decision. Don't miss it. Blaise, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Thanks for watching, everybody.